We do not participate in rental arbitrage, and here's why.
In this video, we're gonna tell you what to do instead and still make money on Airbnb.
Hi, I'm Sarah Karakayan.
And I'm Annette Grant. And together we are
Thanks for visiting.
We've been hosting for well over a decade, welcomed tens of thousands of guests, and earned thousands of 5-star reviews.
Our portfolio continues to bring in over $1.5 million year over year, and supported not only by the industry's leading brands, but also some of the biggest media outlets.
And we're here to help you with your furnished rental.
If you don't know what rental arbitrage is, it is taking a long-term rental that you don't own and putting furniture in it and flipping it to the short-term rental market and selling it as a short-term rental. You pay your landlord your rent and everything else is for you to keep.
Sounds simple, right? Absolutely not simple. Wrong.
Yeah. It's still a very popular way to get into the Airbnb industry, but there was a time when it was like all the rage. And the more I looked at it and thought about it, I'm like, I don't understand. There's so much risk involved here, and we want to share it with you. So if you're considering arbitrage, we want you to make that decision after watching this video and still be super confident that it's right for you. If this video doesn't convince you otherwise, that's fine. But we want you to think about the alternative and the risks we see involved with it after being involved in this industry for so long, so that you can make an informed decision for yourself and your next steps.
Here's why this might be highly desirable to you. It might seem as if there is speed to market. It's quick to be able to find a place to rent, sign a lease. Its keys are in your hand tomorrow, and then you only owe 1 month's rent. So I understand that. Speed to market and low cost of entry might be why you're interested.
But when you look deeply at it, that's actually not the case. So we're gonna outline the risks involved with arbitrage and what we think you would be more profitable doing instead.
The risks involved in this. Legal restrictions. You need to understand not only A, are short-term rentals allowed in your area, but B, are you actually allowed to arbitrage in your area? There are some places where that is not allowed. It's not okay.
And with legal restrictions, if you sign a 1-year lease and restrictions change, it's very unlikely that your landlord is going to let you out of that lease without penalty. So you have to remember the restrictions change, they ebb and flow, and if you've bound yourself to some long-term lease, you're responsible for it, whether you can conduct business or not. This is actually easier these days than it used to be when Airbnb rental arbitrage first started. But getting landlord approval is essential to arbitraging. You do not want to do it under the radar because a lot of leases have built into them that you are not allowed to sublet, that you are not allowed to arbitrage. So you need to make sure that your landlord is fully on board with you operating in their property the way you want to operate, so that you can have confidence moving forward in conducting business in the property.
I don't want to go back to those times, but COVID really wrecked a lot of arbitragers because of market volatility. You are dependent on, and all short-term rental hosts are, but we're dependent on that income monthly to pay for the mortgage, pay for the lease. We saw so many arbitragers completely go out of business during this time because they had absolutely zero income. And if you own the property, at least you have equity in that home where they were owing that rent at the first of the month every single month.
Airbnb rental arbitrage dreams are sold in the fact that it's like low cost, no cost startup. But here's the deal. Annette mentioned 1 month's rent, but I actually don't know a marketplace that doesn't require you to have first and last month's rent and a security deposit. So just the lease alone, maybe you can negotiate with your landlord who is looking for someone to fill their unit. But if a landlord is looking for someone to fill their unit, it might be because no one wants to be in that location. And is that a good location for you to conduct a short-term rental business where you will be successful? On top of that,
you're gonna have to furnish the entire place. That's a huge investment. Even if it's a 1-bedroom apartment, you still need to buy every fork, every knife, every couch, chair, television. There is going to be a lot of upfront cost right away.
But Annette, I could just get a 0% credit card and pay it off later.
True, but you need to have the income in order to pay that off, or the interest rate is gonna go through the roof in the 12 months and you're gonna owe that. So,
and
caution.
If you don't own the property, all that stuff that you're buying, you could potentially depreciate if you were and use tax advantages if you owned the property. But when you don't own the property and you buy all this stuff, the more it gets used, the less valuable it is. And so now you've invested in something that sure, you own it, but the longer guests use it, if you have to close up shop or you don't want to renew your lease or whatever happens, I don't know, your apartment's main water line breaks and the whole apartment's ruined and you got to shut down your business. What are you going to do with that stuff? Then you got to move it like that. It's probably ruined. Like, it can be messy. And I just want you to think about all those things because, again, you're operating your business in a property that you don't own. You are most often in less control over maintenance items in the property when you arbitrage, because the landlord most likely wants to be able to control the utilities, right? And how quick will they fix the AC unit? How quick will they replace that fridge if it goes down? How quick will they get someone out to help you fix your oven? And it's all dependent on your guest happiness. Now, arbitragers have gotten smart with time, and they're like, dear landlord, to make it even a sweeter deal for you, I will take care of all the maintenance tasks. I will pay for them. I'll get your approval, make sure you approve of it. I'll show you all things, but I'll take this burden off your shoulders. And that's cool and all, and you'll get this high from it because you do have some control over it. So then you want to start scaling. And then you sign another lease and another lease and another lease. And it gets us like this high on what you're doing, but you are then, again, compounding all the furniture you're investing in, on the fact that you are building a bigger business on more rented land with other landlords who you cannot control, maybe in jurisdiction. So all those things we just talked about, those risks, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then one regulation thing that comes through, one pandemic that no one expects, right? Like your business and you as the business owner, you might think like maybe if you're smart, you'll start your business under an LLC and you'll have some protection there, but it can get really dangerous really fast when you set up your business this way.
Now, if you didn't want to listen to what we've told you previously and you still want to move forward with rental arbitrage, here is our advice. We just want you to know we highly advise that we would go to more of a mom and pop business, like people that are having their own properties, apartments or homes for rent. That way you have some negotiation. You can really be transparent with them, and we advise, let's work into the contract. If regulations change, give you an immediate out where you're not on the hook for the rent for the next 6 months, 12 months, however long of a lease you've signed. That's our biggest suggestion, is starting with someone that you can have a one-to-one relationship with. So if something were to go sideways, if you need to pivot, you can pick up the phone, let them know, talk to them, not giant company where you're gonna have to call the leasing office and they might have to talk to the president of the company and they're like, nope, you signed the lease, we don't care, you're on the hook. So we advise going smaller there where you have that one-on-one relationship.
Also treat it like a business, okay? So if you sign a lease, make sure you understand all the terms. And like Annette said, feel free to negotiate. Have business insurance. So when you call an insurance broker, share with them, be very transparent about how you plan to operate so that you're protected. Understand, maybe even chat with an attorney, how you should form your business, again, so you are protected. What if a guest hurts himself in the property? Who's liable? Is it you? Is it the landlord? Is it both of you? And to what degree? So make sure you truly understand the good, the bad, and the ugly of your arbitrage setup.
Here are the amazing benefits of co-hosting. Number one, you're starting a business. You're gonna be signing a contract with the owner of the property for a percentage of revenue versus having to sign your name to a 12-month lease that you're gonna owe the deposit and first month's lease.
Side note too, just to share with you how amazing this is, a lease, you can't resell a lease, okay? You can resell a contract if you build that into your contract. So what I mean by that is when you build a relationship with an owner and then you have another owner and then another owner, right? And so you're starting to like scale your business, you're gonna do it slowly and responsibly, but those contracts you have with those owners, you could sell it, like there's value in that contract. You could sell it down the line to a bigger company or to a different company if you're ready to move on. That has value, a lease does not.
Right, and then the furnishing, the place is already furnished, or the owner is gonna pay to have the home furnished. So that isn't going to be you making that giant investment in furnishings out of the gate. It's already gonna be done for you.
In fact, you could even get paid by the owner of the property to furnish the place. Unlike arbitrage, where you're furnishing it, you're not really getting paid for it, and you're gonna have to pay off all that furniture, whether you delay it via a 0% credit card or you make that the first thing you do when you open up your doors. With co-hosting, I actually make money off of helping owners furnish their places. It could be an extra side hustle, an extra revenue stream, which is really exciting.
The next thing with market volatility and just risk overall is if it's you in arbitrage signing leases with multiple different people all over your city, you can see that's highly risky and you're very volatile. Where if you are co-hosting for several clients around your city, you are being able to diversify the location of your property, the owners of your property, and then you can spread like all of the, let's say, the weight of that economic impact monthly with your owners, not just with yourself.
This isn't our first time sharing our love of co-hosting and our, how we don't agree or we wouldn't feel comfortable arbitraging ourselves. And we're met with some people who come at us where like, well, in our state, you'd have to be licensed in order to run a co-hosting business, right? There's some gray area there, like maybe you're actually a property manager. And to that I say, okay, get licensed. The cool thing with getting licensed, first of all, you are professionalizing what you're doing. You do have to take class, you have to get licensed, and there is value there with your professionalism, dedicating yourself to your craft, and the very important job you're doing of, I don't care what way you slice it, whether you're arbitraging or co-hosting, you are managing that property. And there's some education there that you should be proud to do and perform. On top of that, let's say you get really good at understanding what areas of your city or your jurisdiction or your marketplace, whatever, that is actually very profitable. You know that a 3-bedroom, 3-bath is gonna crush it here and that a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom is not gonna be great there. Like you understand your market like no one else does because you actually see the numbers. Well now, and you're licensed, now you could make money off of referrals for sales and or purchasing, helping buyers, or you could do it yourself. You could get a few under your belt, open your own brokerage, again, diversify, come back from people who's like, well, then I have to get licensed. It's like, okay, then you should get licensed. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not as scary as it seems, and there's a lot of great ways there to make extra revenue and to go all in on your industry. While chatting with landlords and negotiating your lease when you're arbitraging might seem difficult and potentially daunting, a lot of people also think, well, how do I get clients with co-hosting? And I get it. But with co-hosting, you can list out all the things that you're going to do to help with preventative maintenance of a property, all the things that you do to provide hospitality experience for your guests. And the best way to get clients is to simply talk about what you do and your business all the time.
But Sarah, I don't even have a client yet. What do I do?
I don't know, Annette. What's a great way for strangers to accidentally see your content?
There's this wonderful thing called social media.
Ah,
but I'm even gonna go back one because I would say I'm gonna go old school on it of like going to networking events. Where are real estate folks hanging out? I can't tell you how many real estate meetups Sarah and I go to, and people know us and that we're a part of the Airbnb community. So they actually come to us now to co-host. And so that's the thing is like getting out there with other real estate professionals, people that own real estate, and then tap into your own personal network.
Back in the beginning, I first moved to Columbus, Ohio, and I didn't know a soul. So first of all, I did take my own advice and I got on social media and I would use hashtags or I would tag things on my Instagram stories. And I actually found a woman who DM'd me because I was going through my own home, my own apartment, and sharing all the things that I love to incorporate into short-term rentals. And she was like, hey, I have a really beautiful property that I was thinking about doing short-term rentals. I homeschool and I don't have time. Would you be interested? And this was my very first client here in Columbus. And I said yes. And that relationship blossomed into one side of her duplex, the next side of her duplex. Eventually they bought a giant vacation rental where I made more money than I could ever think of in commission. And I learned so much because it was just so much more property and there were more amenities and I was able to just sink my teeth in and grow, all from an Instagram story. Second tip is yes, go to networking events, but I'd also go to real estate brokerages. If you've been watching our YouTube videos, you have learned so much. After this video, you should go watch others, get educated, and then what you could do is offer to real estate brokerages to go and do a presentation for 20, 30 minutes on the state of your short-term rental market in your area, on the regulations of the short-term rental market, how to buy a short-term rental in their area, what are the amenities that are really hot in the area, whatever topic you want to talk about, brokerages are salivating at the mouth to bring content to their agents, and you could get yourself some incredible clients from doing things like that.
If you're excited now to start your co-hosting business over arbitraging, make sure to go watch our How to Start a Co-hosting Business video.
We actually get this question all the time. If I've never hosted an Airbnb period, can I start a co-hosting business? And to that I say, running a short-term rental is running a short-term rental. There are a few other things you have to learn from co-hosting, which you'll watch from that co-hosting video, but watching our video about the top 10 mistakes that new Airbnb hosts make are gonna save you so much time and money. As you're dreaming of growing your co-hosting business, you have to download our free gift to you, our organizational chart, so you can see all the different ways you can grow your short-term rental co-hosting business and what it takes to do so.
And we hope that you have so many questions now because you're like, wait, your mind's been blown that there's another option besides arbitraging. Make sure to leave it in the comments below. We're happy to help you figure out your co-hosting business.
And with that, I am Sarah Kara Kane.
I'm Annette Grant, and together we are Thanks for visiting.